He didn't just break my heart. He tried to break my entire world. After I finally found the strength to leave him, my ex-boyfriend launched a campaign to make sure everyone I knew hated me. He lied to my friends. He lied to my family. He even posted his twisted version of our story online, and then sent me the links just to make sure I saw the horrible things strangers were saying about me. I felt completely powerless, trapped. Until one night at a birthday party for his best friend, I saw my chance. I didn't need to scream or throw a drink in his face. All I needed was the truth. And by the time I was done, his entire life, the perfect woke feminist facade he'd built over a decade, came crashing down around him. We've all been there. That feeling of being wronged, of being underestimated, of being dragged through the mud by someone who faces no consequences. That deep primal craving for justice, for validation, for someone to finally see the truth. If you've ever dreamed of the perfect karma-filled payback, then you're in the right place. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and get ready. Because this isn't just a story of revenge. It's a story of a narcissist who finally got what was coming to him. Let's rewind. Let me introduce you to the man of the hour. We'll call him Alex. And on the surface, Alex was a catch. At 26, he was charming, articulate, and politically flawless. He was the guy at the party who'd passionately debate intersectional feminism, the one who'd correct other men on their microaggressions, the one who posted the right infographics on his social media, and called his female friends his sisters. He was, by all public accounts, a perfect woke feminist angel. But I got to see the man behind the curtain. And let me tell you, it was a horror show. The mask only came off when we were alone. The supportive feminist? He'd proudly tell me which of his female friends he secretly thought were faking it for attention. The loyal friend? He had a running vicious commentary on every single one of his so-called best friends. Their life choices, their partners, their successes. It was all fodder for his private contempt. He was a vault of their deepest insecurities, and he loved showing me the combination. And then there was the gaslighting. If I caught him in a lie, I was being paranoid. If I expressed a hurt feeling, I was too sensitive, too fragile for his brutal honesty. He created a reality where he was always the rational hero, and I was the emotional, problematic side character in his story. The breaking point was another girl. I don't even remember the details anymore. Just the feeling. That cold, sinking certainty in my gut. The late-night texts, the sudden work dinners, the way his phone was always face down. I confronted him. And of course he turned it around. How dare I accuse him? Didn't I trust him? Was my self-esteem really that low? But this time the fog lifted. I saw it. The manipulation. The utter bullshit. I ended it. I packed my things, blocked his number on everything, and tried to take my first breath of free air in 2 years. I thought that was the end of it. Oh, how naive I was. For Alex, the breakup wasn't an end. It was a new stage of the performance. And his new role was the wounded good guy. He couldn't get to me directly, so he went around me. He started calling my friends my sister. His voice would be dripping with faux concern. "Hey, I'm just so worried about her," he'd say. "She's not taking the breakup well. She's saying some really crazy things. I think she might need help." He'd sigh, the picture of exhaustion. "I just don't know what happened. She became so toxic." Then came the Reddit posts. Oh, the Reddit posts. He'd craft these elaborate, self-serving stories on relationship advice subreddits. My 26M, crazy ex-girlfriend 25F, is spiraling after our breakup. How do I get her to stop smearing my name? He'd paint himself as the long-suffering saint and me as the unhinged, jealous harpy. And then the kicker. He'd send me the links. A text from an unknown number. Just a URL. Clicking on it felt like stepping into a public square where a caricature of me was being burned at the stake. The comments were worse. Hundreds of strangers telling him to get a restraining order, calling me a stage 5 clinger, a bunny boiler. I'd sit there, reading these vile things, my hands shaking, my heart pounding against my ribs. It was a special kind of torture. He was erasing me and replacing me with a monster, and he was making me watch. I felt so powerless. How do you fight that? Do I make my own post? No, he's the narcissist. It would just look like I was proving his point. I was drowning in his narrative. Weeks turned into a month of this. The constant anxiety, the explanations to my confused friends, the pit in my stomach every time my phone buzzed. I was a ghost in my own life, haunted by his voice. Then my phone buzzed with a different number. One I recognized. It was Mark, Alex's roommate. We'd always gotten along. He was a genuinely good guy. "Hey, it's Mark. Having a little birthday thing at the apartment this weekend. You should come. I know things are weird with Alex, but he won't be a jerk. Promise. Plus, Loki misses you." Loki. Alex's cat. The one pure, good thing to come out of that relationship. A fluffy ginger beast who'd slept on my chest every night and purred me through 100 of Alex's silent treatments. I missed that cat with a physical ache. My first instinct was panic. Go to the lion's den? Voluntarily? But then, a second feeling, cold and sharp, cut through the fear. This was it. This was the opportunity. Alex's greatest strength was his audience. His decade-long ride-or-die friend group. They were his immunity. They were the reason he could do all this without consequence, because they would always believe his version of events. What if I could take that away? The plan didn't form fully in that moment. It was just a resolve. A single solid thought. It ends today. The night of the party, my stomach was a knot of nerves and iron determination. I could feel my heartbeat in my throat. I walked into the apartment, and it was like stepping into a museum of my own failed relationship. There they all were. Mark, his girlfriend Sarah, Chloe, Alex's female friend who I'd always liked. And there, holding court by the punch bowl, was Alex. He already had a glassy look in his eyes. He was getting shit-faced. Perfect. He saw me. A smirk touched his lips. A look that said, "Look who came crawling back." How pathetic. He didn't see the predator. He only saw the prey he thought had wandered back into his pen. I made my rounds. Said happy birthday to Mark. Gave Sarah a hug. Made small talk. All the while my eyes were tracking. Planning. I needed the right moment. I needed him to be thoroughly distracted. And then, like a gift he launched into a loud drunken story for a group of guys, his back turned. This was my window. I moved quietly. I touched Chloe's arm. "Hey, can I talk to you for a sec?" I gestured to Sarah. "You too." I saw another girl in their group, Maya, nearby and gave her a little nod. "Maya, come join us?" A little confused, they followed me into Mark's bedroom, just off the living room. I closed the door. The noise of the party became a dull hum. The three of them looked at me, curious, smiling. They expected gossip. Girl talk. I took a deep breath. My hands were cold. This was it. No going back. "I know this is weird." I started, my voice quieter than I wanted it to be. I cleared my throat, forcing strength into it. "And I'm only going to say this once. I need you to know the truth about Alex." I saw Chloe's smile falter. The air in the room changed. And then I opened the vault. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I spoke with a calm, devastating clarity that surprised even me. I told them about the other girl he brought back to this very apartment while I was asleep in his room. I described the gaslighting, the specific, cruel phrases he'd use. I told them about the calls, the texts, the Reddit posts he'd sent me links to. Then I looked at Sarah. "He told me he never thought you were good enough for Mark. That you were holding him back." Sarah's face went pale. I looked at Chloe. "He said your feminist activism was performative, and that you were just seeking male validation." Chloe's eyes widened, a flash of hurt and then fury. I looked at Maya. "He criticized your relationship too. Said your boyfriend was a loser." I laid it all bare. Every private contempt, every two-faced judgment. And with each revelation, I could see the scales falling from their eyes. I wasn't just telling them my story. I was giving them the key to 1,000 little confusing moments they'd experienced with him over the years. "The thing is," I said, my final blow, "when he said those horrible things about all of you, I always defended you. Every time. I told him he was wrong. I told him you were amazing. I believed in the people I thought you were. I need you to know that the person he is in public is a costume. The real Alex is cruel, he's a misogynist, and he holds all of you in complete contempt." The room was silent. The party outside sounded a million miles away. I let out a long breath. The tension drained from my shoulders. It was done. The truth was out. It wasn't my burden to carry alone anymore. "I'm sorry to dump this on you at a party," I said softly. "I just thought you deserved to know." And with that, I turned and left the room. I walked back into the party, through the crowd of laughing people, past a still oblivious Alex. I went to the kitchen, found the birthday cake, cut myself a giant slice, put it on a plate and walked right out the front door. I didn't look back. I ate that cake on my walk home. It was the sweetest thing I'd ever tasted. For months I heard nothing. Radio silence. I wondered if it had worked. Maybe they just dismissed me as the crazy ex after all. Maybe I'd failed. Then I ran into an old mutual friend at a coffee shop. "Hey," they said. "Have you heard about Alex?" My heart skipped a beat. "No. What happened?" They let out a low whistle. "It's a mess. Apparently at Mark's birthday party, some major truth bomb got dropped. The girls confronted him after you left. It turned into a huge screaming fight. Everything came out. All of it." I listened, my coffee forgotten, as they laid out the fallout. His entire friend group, the people he'd known for over 10 years, his entire support system, had confronted him with everything. And he'd shown his true colors. He'd gotten defensive, angry, called them all traitors. He'd confirmed every single thing I'd said by his reaction. They excommunicated him. The friend group that was once his fortress locked him out. He wasn't invited to game nights, to dinners, to birthdays. He lived in the same apartment as Mark and they just stopped talking to him. He became a ghost in his own home. And then, the final beautiful piece of news. Just a few days ago I found out he's moving. He's leaving the city entirely. He's running away from the consequences he could no longer manipulate, gaslight, or smear. His perfect, woke persona was shattered beyond repair, and the only audience left was the one in the mirror, the one person he couldn't lie to. The revenge wasn't in the confrontation. It was in the silence that followed. The silence where he finally had to sit, alone with the monster he'd created. There was no one left to perform for. I didn't just take his friends. I took his stage. They say the best revenge is a life well lived. And that's true. But sometimes the best revenge is simply the truth spoken calmly to the right people at the right time. It's the one thing a narcissist can't control, can't twist, and can never ever recover from. If this story of quiet, calculated justice gave you that deep, satisfying feeling of karma, do the algorithm a solid and smash that like button. It really helps the channel. Let me know in the comments. What's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed or been a part of? Was it petty or was it profound? And of course, if you want more stories of people turning the tables and serving up justice on a cold plate, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Thanks for watching. Until next time.